Welcome to the 2020 Game Day training. We are excited about the football season, but undoubtedly the experience will be much different this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The following presentation will provide you with more information along with some anticipated challenges and ways to provide our guests with a great Notre Dame experience while keeping everyone safe. The most important changes will be focused on our approach to keeping everyone safe due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Notre Dame's HERE campaign, creating a safe and healthy environment at the University of Notre Dame, is a shared responsibility that will require each of us to be accountable to one another for our behavior both on and off campus. To begin, let's learn more about Notre Dame's HERE campaign with this short video.
HERE. Have you ever thought about that word? Here can mean so much. I can be here for you, and we can be here for each other. At Notre Dame, we are here for a world deeply in need. We cheer, here come the Irish. But this year, being here will be different.
It's great to be back, but if we want to stay here, we all need to make this commitment together. We all need to do our part.
It's going to be tough at times, but it's going to be worth it.
We're all on the same team, so we have to really hold each other accountable. Wear your mask, wash your hands, practice social distancing, and check your health.
We are here so that you can learn, so please protect yourself and protect others.
Being here to learn, discover, and grow is what Notre Dame is all about. So let's do this together.
Our job is to protect people. Now it's your job too.
Remember, we're all a part of this community. What keeps you safe on campus keeps us safe off campus.
Every morning, I'm going to do my daily health check. I'm going to focus on physical distancing. I'm going to wash my hands until I finish humming the Victory March. And I'm going to wear my mask.
Hey, we got this. This is when Notre Dame is at its best, when we face challenges and overcome them.
Let's do this together so that we can remain here together.
For more information and the latest updates on the university's coronavirus response, visit the HERE website at here.nd.edu. Health and safety. Please do not come to campus if you are experiencing any of the following symptoms that are not from a known chronic condition: cough, shortness of breath, fever of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, chills, repeated shaking with chills, runny nose or new nasal congestion, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, new loss of taste or smell. How can we help keep each other and our guests safe? It starts with a simple health check. If you are experiencing any of the symptoms noted and they are not from a known condition, please do not come to campus. To report an absence, stadium ushers should contact the crowd control office, and all other game day staff members should contact his or her supervisor. All university temporary and on-call employees and non-ND employees working games will be provided with the university's manual health check form by their supervisor. This form should be completed each game and retained by the employee for the season. Again, if you do not feel healthy, please do not report to work. Also, if you have been diagnosed with COVID-19 and have not been released by a physician, or if you have been in close contact within 6 feet for longer than 15 minutes to a person diagnosed with COVID-19, please do not report to work. Masks must be worn on campus at all times other than while eating or drinking. Masks are a requirement, without exceptions for medical reasons, to enter Notre Dame Stadium. Note, children under the age of 2 are not required to wear masks. All attendees are required to practice physical distancing throughout the duration of the game and should watch the game from their designated seat location. While supervisors will provide working staff with a mask for game day, it is permissible to bring your own personal protective equipment, provided CDC guidelines are met. Face shields are not a replacement for masks. Permitted masks include Notre Dame branded, Under Armour, solid colors, or disposable surgical masks. Masks with other logos, gestures, or phrases are not permitted. New rules for 2020 concerning the general campus. During a home football weekend, Friday and Saturday, there will be no game day related activations, events, hospitality, or gatherings on campus outside of the football game itself. Game day traditions such as the player walk, pep rallies, and Friday tunnel tours are canceled. Campus buildings, including the Joyce Center, will not be open to the public on game day. Exceptions to this include the Hammis Notre Dame bookstore and the Morris Inn, unless otherwise specified. Legends will not be open this Saturday, September 12th. Hours of operation for Legends for future home games is to be determined. Additionally, the Murnane family ticket office windows in the Joyce Center will not be open on home football game days. Ticket resolution stations will be operational on game day and located at Notre Dame Stadium gates A, B, C, and E. New information for parking in 2020. Parking lots will open 2.5 hours prior to kickoff. They will open earlier for working staff. Tailgating, loitering, and open containers will not be permitted anywhere on campus. Zipper parking will continue this season with all cars using the Joyce, Compton, Stadium, and Walsh architecture lots. Additional parking in Whitefield and the Burke Golf Course will not be utilized. On-campus parking is free of charge for the 2020 football season. Guests will be required to show their mobile game ticket in order to gain entrance into the controlled lots. Working staff will be issued a mobile parking pass. Please see your supervisor if you have any questions. As a game day employee, you will receive an email regarding your Saturday report time and your parking credential. If you do not receive this information by Friday of a home game weekend, please contact your supervisor. Shuttle services will not be utilized during the 2020 season based on stadium capacity and proximity of parking. Courtesy carts run by the guest services team will not be operational and available for guests. However, they will be used for football coaches' transport. Enhanced sanitation and masks are required if there is more than one passenger. Concession outlets, typically located outside the stadium and at other locations throughout campus, will not be available. Nelson's, student concessions, and other organizations like this. A limited number of Joy's Johns will be located in close proximity to the stadium. There will be no additional Joy's Johns deployed throughout campus or in the parking lots. Here are some of the new procedures for 2020 concerning ticket operations and gate access. Stadium gates open 2 hours prior to kickoff. Beginning this fall, Notre Dame Athletics will transition to mobile ticketing for football and all other ticketed sports. Available through the user's smartphone, mobile ticketing will offer a secure, convenient, and, most importantly, contactless exchange of tickets when entering Notre Dame events. Ticket resale is not permitted. Suggested entry times and designated gates will be included on and encouraged via mobile tickets. However, please note, entry times and designated gates, while encouraged, will not be enforced. In other words, tickets will scan at any gate. Once again, for any ticket-related challenge upon entry, ticket resolution stations will be operational on game day and located at Notre Dame Stadium gates A, B, C, and E. Tradition updates. The Band of the Fighting Irish and the Notre Dame cheerleaders will perform from the Notre Dame Stadium stands. There will be no game day related band or cheer performances on campus or on the stadium field. Please note, the band and cheerleaders will enter the stadium via the northern portal of Gate E. The band and cheer will not be required to pass through metal detectors. NDPD dogs will screen band members outside of Gate E. Post-game masses will be offered 30 minutes following the conclusion of the game and on Sundays at 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. The full Mass schedule is reflected on the campus ministry website. For health and safety reasons, the following modifications have been implemented for the 2020 football season. Printed game programs will not be available for sale this season. On a game-by-game basis, a complimentary digital program can be downloaded at und.com. Seat cushions will not be available in the stadium concourse for fans to rent for the 2020 season. Phone charging stations will not be available inside Notre Dame Stadium. All drinking fountains inside Notre Dame Stadium will not be operational and will be marked with appropriate signage. One more note. For the September 12th game against Duke, no food will be offered at concession stands or throughout the stadium. Bottled water and soft drinks will be available for purchase. As a reminder, guests are not permitted to bring their own food or beverages with them into the stadium on game day. At the conclusion of the game, guests will be asked to use their best judgment when departing the stadium. Guests will be encouraged to take their time while leaving and respect others' desire for physical distancing. There will be no tailgating or social gatherings allowed in the parking lots after the game. Cleaning and disinfecting. Health and safety. Robust stadium cleaning and sanitation protocols have been developed to address high-touch surfaces, restrooms, and concession stands. Prior to the start of the game, B&B staff members will disinfect first aid rooms, elevators, restrooms, stairs, ramps, turnstiles, handrails, and bag check tables. During the game, B&B will have a bowl disinfecting team and a spray team, equipped with electrostatic backpack spray guns on site to wipe down and spray high-touch surfaces within the stadium. An additional team will clean and disinfect restrooms throughout the game. We ask you to do your part to help with campus cleanliness. Pick up any small trash you see. Report overflowing garbage cans or other areas that need attending, such as restrooms, concession counters, etc. Please also contact your supervisor, who will report it to Facilities Command. Complete any additional cleaning or disinfecting as directed by your unit to keep our campus safe and Notre Dame Stadium safe. Many dedicated staff members will work hard to keep the stadium clean and sanitized, but again, if you see something that needs additional attention, please report it to your supervisor. And don't forget, before you begin your shift, familiarize yourself with your specific area and any cleaning and sanitizing protocols. Hand sanitizing stations have been positioned throughout the concourse. These are available for guests and staff members to use frequently throughout the event. The Notre Dame Police Department, NDPD, is the primary agency and will oversee all security on the day of the event. To contact NDPD, call 574-631-5555. All ND staff are expected to report any suspicious activity or potential crime to NDPD. NDPD is supported by other agencies for game day and major events. Officers will be in their agency's uniform and will have the appropriate ND credential. Escalation procedures. Escalation definition. An increase in the intensity or seriousness of something. If you are in a situation that escalates, know what to do and who to report it to. Have your supervisor's name and contact information. When you see or hear something that makes you uncomfortable, no matter how small, say something. No surprise rule. Report any incident to your supervisor and or NDPD immediately. Again, the NDPD phone number, 574-631-5555. Prohibited behavior. Failure to wear a mask or to properly wear a mask. The proper way to wear a mask is to fully cover the nose and mouth with the mask secured under the chin. Also prohibited. Failure to maintain physical distancing as a result of not remaining in your assigned seat location or sitting in an unassigned seat. Failure to comply with expectations may result in removal of the fan from the stadium and further disciplinary action. Stadium evacuation and emergency procedures. In the event of an evacuation or emergency, guests will be informed by the public address announcer and should follow the directions of university personnel and uniformed law enforcement officers. As a staff member, it is your responsibility to familiarize yourself with the evacuation locations and learn your team's specific emergency procedures. The Public Safety Office is located outside Section 28 between gates D and E on the stadium's west side. This information is also located on your Gameday reference card. Prior to a game or event, you should review the stadium evacuation and emergency procedures on your reference card. If you have any questions, please contact your supervisor for clarification. Your role in an emergency. Stay calm. The guests react to how you are reacting. Move to safety, call for help, and if safe, help others. Be proactive and prevent any further incidents. If the stadium needs to be evacuated, know the evacuation plan. You can refer to your reference card for information. Only give out information provided to you by your supervisor or by university officials. First aid contacts, pregame, during, and postgame. If there is a COVID-related concern, please contact First Aid at 574-631-5555 immediately. If any other medical services are needed prior to kickoff, after the game, or any time while visiting Notre Dame's campus, call 574-631-5555 for the most efficient response time. This connects directly to the Notre Dame Dispatch Center for safety and security, fire, or medical emergencies. On game days and stadium event days only, you can use guest assistance texting. Text Irish space and the issue to 69050. Again, in the case of an emergency, either call 574-631-5555 or on game days and stadium event days only, text Irish space and the issue to 69050. First aid locations. Upon entering Notre Dame Stadium, ticketed guests may use the following first aid rooms for medical services. 2 first aid rooms will be available for guests and will be sufficient to service guests based on expected attendance. One is located on the upper concourse east, sections 109 and 110. There's another on the lower concourse east near section 11. There will also be a COVID-19 isolation room. This will be located in the first aid station outside section 128-129, upper concourse west, and it will be utilized as a COVID-19 isolation room if needed. Please note, the first aid station near section 26, west side, lower concourse, will not be in use on game day. Lactation room. If requested, a space in O'Neill Hall has been reserved as a lactation room for mothers requiring a private space. The usher wheelchair team will be on site and available via radio to escort the guest. Please contact your supervisor if you need more information. AED locations. An AED, or automated external defibrillator, is a life-saving device. It is used to help those experiencing sudden cardiac arrest. It's a sophisticated yet easy-to-use medical device that can analyze the heart's rhythm and, if necessary, deliver an electrical shock or defibrillation to help the heart reestablish an effective rhythm. Locations and detailed descriptions are available via the PulsePoint AED app by downloading on iOS or Android. For more information, visit the Notre Dame Fire Department website, ndfd.nd.edu. Guest assistance texting. If there is a situation that raises concern, ushers and/or guests can text Irish space and the issue to 69050. This option is only available on game day and special event days. It is not limited to Notre Dame Stadium. The issue can be anywhere on campus or in the parking lots. This service is advertised on the Gameday website, on the video board, in the digital football program, as well as the concourses in Notre Dame Stadium. Remember, if you see something, say something. Now let's move on to stadium policies. First, the clear bag policy. The clear bag policy applies to all reserved ticketed events in Notre Dame Stadium and includes Corbett Family Hall, O'Neill Hall, and Duncan Student Center during home football games Saturdays and select events. The clear bag policy also applies to events at Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center and Compton Family Ice Arena. Under the clear bag policy, the following bags are permissible. Clear plastic vinyl bags that do not exceed 12 inches by 6 inches by 12 inches in size. Clear bags of any style, including fanny packs and backpacks within these size restrictions, are allowable. 1 gallon clear plastic zip bags, such as Ziploc or Hefty bags, are also allowable. Clear bags may have a logo not exceeding 4.5 inches by 3.4 inches on one side. Small clutch bags with or without a handle or strap, or wallets that do not exceed 4.5 inches by 6.5 inches, approximately the size of a hand, are allowable and do not need to be clear plastic. Exceptions will be made for approved medical bags or equipment. Bags that do not meet the policy will not be permitted in the venue. Disposal, relocation of non-permissible bags will be the responsibility of the owner. No bag check will be available. Metal detectors. Walk-through metal detectors are used at all gates of Notre Dame Stadium. Entrants are not required to remove belts, cell phones, coins, jackets, jewelry, watches, wallets, shoes, or other small objects. Fans should be told to keep these items in their pockets. New for 2020, gates A, B, C, and E will be available for fan ingress. While metal detectors will be set up at these locations, every other metal detector will be operational to encourage physical distancing upon entry. Also, in order to encourage a contactless environment, guests will carry their approved bags with them through the metal detector. Metal detectors will also be used at all men's and women's basketball contests in Purcell Pavilion at the Joyce Center and hockey games at Compton Family Ice Arena. The policy may be in effect for other events at those locations or other campus venues on a case-by-case basis. For the 2020 football season, if a metal detector alarm is activated, a Monterey security staff member will instruct the guest on next steps. Also, it is important to note that guests should not be asked to remove their masks upon entry. Students will still be asked to show their ID, however, they should not be asked to remove their masks to verify identity. The list of permitted items that fans can bring into the stadium is very similar to last year's, with a few additions. Masks and additional personal protective equipment, such as rubber gloves and hand sanitizer, are new to the permissible items list for 2020. For students only, please note that the plastic water containers must be empty. Also, please use your best judgment to determine if a water vessel is plastic or glass. New this year for prohibited items are Halloween-style masks. CDC-approved masks are required, but Halloween-style masks are not allowed. In addition to the preceding list, the following are prohibited both in the stadium and on campus: weapons of any kind, the use of unmanned aerial systems, UAS, or drones. Additional items may be prohibited at special events. Visit here.nd.edu/football for more information. Again, if you see something, say something. The University of Notre Dame smoking policy is as follows. In accordance with Indiana state law, Chapter 96 of the St. Joseph County Code of Ordinances and LEED certification requirements, and based on FDA testing, the University of Notre Dame prohibits all smoking in or within 25 feet of all buildings and stadiums, as well as in all vehicles owned, leased, or operated by the university. This includes the smoking of tobacco in any form, cigarettes, cigars, pipes, cigarillos, etc., and the use of electronic devices that emit smoke, such as e-cigarettes or any other product intended to mimic smoking of any products such as hookahs or similar devices. In addition to the smoking products described above, the use of oral tobacco, including spit and spitless, smokeless, chew and snuff, and nasal tobacco, such as snuff, is prohibited in all university buildings. Elevator access. All bowl patrons requiring elevator use should be directed to the East Stadium elevators only. Upper Concourse East, sections 110 and 111, Lower Concourse East, sections 10 and 11. Refer to your game day reference card or visit here.nd.edu/football for additional accessibility information. Gate assignments. Another change for 2020 is how guests enter Notre Dame Stadium. Gates A, C, and E will be utilized by Notre Dame students. The south portal at Gate A will be reserved for player guests. Gate B will be the entrance for Notre Dame faculty and staff members with tickets. Gate B, south portal only, will also be used for visiting team guests. Gate D will not be used for entry. All tickets will instruct the guests to enter the stadium at a specific gate. If guests arrive at a gate other than what is indicated on their ticket, it is not necessary to send them to that gate. Simply provide instructions on the direction they should go once inside Notre Dame Stadium. For those assigned to ADA Upper Bowl seating, the recommended entries are Gate A for students and Gate B for other ticketed guests. For health and safety reasons, it is recommended that while students will still be asked to show their IDs upon entry into the stadium, they should not be asked to remove their masks to verify identity. If you have more questions about this process, please contact your supervisor. The COVID-19 response unit at Gate D will be open for testing from 8 a.m. until 10 a.m. on game day. However, Gate D will not be accessible for entry into the stadium during game day. One portal of Gate D will be opened in the event of an evacuation emergency, and it will also be open to allow guests to exit the stadium at the conclusion of the game. There will be limited guest circulation through the concourse at Gate D on the inner concourse only. Here are some important phone numbers to know. We ask that you save these numbers in your cell phone. For both non-emergency and emergency situations, call the Notre Dame Police Department at 574-631-5555. This will get a quicker response than dialing 911. To report a facility concern at Notre Dame Stadium, call 574-631-1444. For COVID-19 related concerns or questions, call 574-631-5555. Now let's move on to the Notre Dame Guest Experience Guidelines for 2020. Our approach to fan interaction is GET, get. G for greet, E for engage, T for thank. However, this year, please engage with guests from a safe physical distance to the best of your ability. Let's dive a little deeper now into the GET philosophy. G, of course, stands for greet, and the key phrase is, "Welcome to Notre Dame." It's something we say often and with a sincere appreciation for what it means to be on our beautiful campus. Be proactive and not reactive. Our goal is to greet our guests before they greet us, but this year we want you to add something to the key phrase, "Welcome to Notre Dame," and thank you for wearing your mask. During the 2020 season, consider a physical gesture, such as a wave or head nod, to accompany your greeting, as guests won't be able to see your smile under your mask. E stands for engage. While it is important to engage with our guests during the 2020 season, it is equally important to maintain social distancing and allow guests to keep moving throughout the stadium. Do not rush an interaction with a guest, but be mindful of the purpose and length of your conversation. The key phrase under engage is, "How may I help you?" Listen carefully to the guest. Be available and present. If you do not know the answer, know who to ask, your supervisor or a colleague, and what information you have readily available to you on your reference card. If a guest asks for directions, walk 2 steps with them in the right direction while still maintaining a safe physical distance. Possible responses: if you do not know the answer, let me get someone who can help, or I don't know, but let me find out for you. Remember, you may have communicated the same message on a variety of occasions, but a guest may be hearing it for the first time. Be mindful of keeping a smile in your voice when engaging with a guest. T is for thank. Be mindful of both positive and challenging interactions. The following key phrases may assist you. Thank you. I appreciate you bringing your concern to my attention. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Safe travels home. And here's a tip for success. End the interaction on a positive note. Here are some guidelines for dealing with guests with disabilities. Some guests may have hidden disabilities. They don't have to prove them. Focus on concerns rather than on the disability. Use "how may I help you" versus "are you handicapped?" Instead of speaking to the person assisting the disabled guest, speak to the disabled guest directly. When appropriate, refer to guests as needing assistance and refrain from using handicapped guest. If a guest is hearing impaired and usually relies heavily on lip reading to communicate, please use other means to communicate, such as a pen and paper or text within a cell phone, rather than removing your face mask. Service dogs accompanying their owners and service dogs in training are allowed in the stadium. When it is not obvious what service an animal provides, only 2 questions can be asked. Is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? What work or task has the dog been trained to perform? If trained to perform a task related to the owner's disability, other than providing comfort or support, then the animal is allowed in the stadium. Emotional support animals, comfort animals, and therapy dogs with the sole function of providing comfort or emotional support are not service animals and are not allowed. Here are some tips for success in executing the GET philosophy. You are a representative of Notre Dame to our guests, and you play a critical role in their experience. Communication is not limited to verbal interaction. Body language and gestures also need to follow the courtesy guidelines. Greet the guest before the guest greets you. Show your colleagues the same courtesy you show to guests. Most of the information you are asked and/or need to know will be on your Gameday reference card or the new 2020 football informational website, here.nd.edu/football. If you are unable to locate an answer, please contact your supervisor. All staff members should be well-groomed and professional in appearance. A mask is required. Additional personal protective equipment, PPE, may be recommended. When in uniform, regardless of schedule, whether you're on a break or off duty, present yourself in a manner that complements the Notre Dame image. Cell phones should only be used for official business or in the case of an emergency. Again, masks are required for all staff. Additional personal protective equipment, such as gloves, face shield, etc., may be recommended based on a staff role or as determined by the supervisor. Disposable masks will be available at all stadium gates, premium entrances, and first aid rooms in the event a staff member needs a new mask. Masks with other logos, gestures, or phrases are not permitted. Please note that face shields do not replace the mask requirement. Face shields do not replace the mask requirement. Finally, thank you. We appreciate the time you took to complete this training for the 2020 season. The safety of you and our guests is of utmost importance, and we always want to strive for excellence. You, as an employee of the university, are an ambassador of the spirit of Notre Dame and are a critical part of the Notre Dame experience for our guests. We hope this training has helped you feel prepared to carry out your role to the best of your ability this year. Thank you once again for your contributions to the Notre Dame family. And to wrap up our presentation, here now a special thank you from the Notre Dame football team.
Thank you for all you do for making the Notre Dame Game Day experience great and for keeping us and our fans safe. Go Irish!